I'm the mayor of Prospect. I'd like to welcome you to Prospect City Hall to the council chamber for this meeting of the Prospect City Council, March 16, 2026. It's a regular meeting of the council. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Those have been distributed. Are there any questions or comments or corrections?
I'll move approval.
Second.
Mr. Clark made the motion to approve. Ms. Leonard made the seconded that motion. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is comments from citizens. So first, I'm going to call on Caroline Cameron. If you,
Well, I was gonna kind of.
Caroline, I need you to step up here because we need you to be on the microphone.
I'm Caroline Cameron. I live on Charlock Court in Honey Creek. I was just gonna, my purpose of being here is to learn more about the development plan. So I was gonna kind of see if that's brought up, but since I was called on first, I just want to know more about the development plan. I'm not crazy about it. From what I've seen on the maps, I guess aside from losing green space and the kind of rural feel of Prospect, I'm concerned about the police department and what our plans are for expansion for that. Maybe some of this was covered, but I was hoping to learn about the high density of people and what we have to support that. And then also who is in favor of it, because it seems like the people that I talk to generally are not. So I wanted to learn more about.
Okay, appreciate you being here, Caroline, and hopefully we'll get your questions answered. And also, anytime, you're welcome to contact me and come in. We can go over it in more detail.
Yes.
And then meet the mayor. We had some folks came by on March 20th and answered some of their questions. We had meet the mayor last week, last Friday, and we had one person come in and they didn't bring it up. So
Well, I will say I love that, and I think that's great. But some of the things I feel are more effective at city council because, like, the people who are voting on things, I think
Correct.
they should be privy to the information that.
well, people who are voting are privy. They know what's going on, as do citizens who participated in the process.
Okay.
So Herb Schulhafer.
Name's Herb Schulhafer, and I live at number 2 Autumn Hill Court in Honey Creek in Prospect. Moved into Prospect about 17 years ago, and was still working as an architect. And I've been able to volunteer pretty much in the whole 17 years in most physical developments like the Honey Creek Park. I've volunteered a lot of hours to sort of watch over it for the city, and also been involved in the safety improvements going up the hill and other safety improvements. In fact, chaired that committee since 2017. And then things like the Harris Creek Park Bridge. So, but I spent about, not bragging, but about 50 years being an architect, pretty much here in Louisville, a little bit in Cincinnati, a little bit in Birmingham. I'm a native Louisvillian. What I am, I'm really proud that the city I live in took the action to be involved and being active in a master plan for a major piece of ground. Been involved in projects where a master plan was not implemented, and you almost can see what we have here in the commercial area. And when I was involved in the safety studies for US 42, I know how many wrecks, how many rear-end wrecks happen, because there's so many ways you can turn into the insurance company, the nail places, the Starbucks. That's a great example of not a master plan. That was every individual could go do what they want to do. So I'm just proud that this is a comprehensive look at a major piece of ground. I know it's a sensitive piece of ground. Much of it is in floodplain, and I'm familiar with all the requirements about floodplain. And So that's why I'm here, just to say I'm proud of the city of Prospect and our leaders to jump up and be an active part of this master plan. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Some folks have come in since we started who may want to speak but may not have signed up yet. If you fall into that category, raise your hand and we'll get you on the list. Okay. Kathy, okay, I've got you down. I did put you down. I saw you come in. Yes, sir. Todd. What's your last name, Todd?
Kerger, K-E-R-G-E-R.
K-E-R-G-E-R.
Yes.
Okay. And Todd, where do you live?
7105 River Road.
Okay. Okay, Todd, I guess since we're talking to one another, I'm going to call on you to come up and
All right.
say your piece.
Sure.
Well, thanks for having me. My name is Todd Kerger. And obviously, I live on River Road, and I'm more concerned about, they want to put a road off River, or an entrance off River Road to the project, correct? We've all seen that. So I guess I'm really here to ask the question, after you get so many houses, I think it's 75% annexed into the plan, will you call eminent domain and give people the shit price for the land?
So I was explaining to another lady that this wasn't going to be a conversation. I wasn't going to answer questions, but
Okay.
I will answer to a limited basis. So if we get to we have not annexed this area yet. It's not in the city. So we can't do eminent domain on anything that's not in the city.
But would you?
Well,
When you get it?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. I think what we'd see is we'd see how negotiations go, we'd see how the project's going, and we'd make that decision when the time comes. I'm not gonna make that decision tonight. And I won't be making the decision by myself. It's a council decision. So it's premature. It's just a premature question.
Okay. So, I love the idea. I'm behind it. I just don't want to see anybody get stepped on along the way. Make them whole, give everybody what they're owed. And the eminent domain part is kind of where I know once you get 75%, then the city, the council, you guys could make that decision. And I'm sitting right on that line.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm also sit on the board of Maria Village, so I've got some interest of 50 other people. So, yeah, that's where I'm going with this.
Okay. And Todd, I appreciate you coming in, and I know we've talked before.
Yes, sir.
I recall that we did. And I think I assured you then, and I assure you now, we're not gonna look to hurt anybody. We're gonna behave fairly and honorably throughout this process.
And I want to believe that. So,
I think people who know me and know
Okay.
these people on this council.
and I'm getting to know you, and as long as we have a dialogue, I want to be
Yeah.
upfront and forward. This
Exactly.
is kind of what I'm up against, and I knew this was going to happen 25 years ago. So,
Well, we all did. And
Right.
That's why the city made these steps, was to participate in the process.
okay. Well, thanks for your time, you guys, hearing me out.
Todd,
Appreciate it.
thanks for
Keep me
coming.
in the loop if you guys just need to chat or go to lunch and talk about it.
And likewise, reach out.
All right,
We'll
that's
do
why I'm
that.
here.
Thanks so much.
Yep.
Appreciate it. And then I think did I see Littell come in?
There's some more people that came in all the way in the back. Two more.
Oh, it's not. Okay. So Art Rockwood.
Hello, my name is Art Rockwood. I live at 7118 River Road. And my comment/question was about the annexation project. And I may have been mistaken. I know that the first stage of that was centered around getting 51% of the eligible voters in the annexation area to agree that they wanted that service. And I may have been mistaken that the second step was a ballot.
Yeah, I'm not an annexation expert, but I'll tell you a little bit as I understand it. It's a very arcane process.
Yes.
So the people that live in the area that the city is seeking to annex, and there is an area that's been defined and people have been approached and asked to sign the petition. The number that the city needs to reach is 75% of the total number of people who voted in the last presidential election. We don't need just it can be any registered voter, but the number we're seeking to achieve is 75% of that number, of the number who voted in the last presidential election.
And that is in the area to be annexed?
Yes, in the area that's being annexed. So that then what we do, we adopt an ordinance saying this is the area we want to annex. We've got the signatures. We don't have the signatures yet, but we've got the signatures. And then we submit that to Metro. And then if we've got those signatures, I think it's pretty automatic that it's approved.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and again, I would say the same thing. You can call me or stop by City Hall anytime and I can discuss it further with you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming in. Okay, Denny Rogers.
I'm not used to speaking in front of a microphone, so forgive me. Couple of things that I was going to say. People already said I was going to ask about the 51%, 75%. That's pretty confusing. But I looked at the Exhibit B that was attached to the ordinance that you were going to read tonight, but I understand it's going to be tabled or something. There were people on that list who did not say yes to the annexation. So are they on the list just because they're a voter in the area, or?
Yes. That's correct.
Okay, what if people are on the list who don't even live in the area anymore?
Then we don't include them.
They were on the
Yeah,
list.
they're people who've died, they're people who've divorced and moved away. They're not included.
Well, there was a gentleman on the list who passed away.
That's right.
So the list is to include all who voted in the 24 election. That's what it reflects.
In the 24 election?
Yes.
Yeah, the statute says that you go by the last presidential election, the number of people, it doesn't matter who the people are that
So
are
even
listed.
if they don't live in the area anymore,
Well, it would be better for us if they weren't on the list,
well, they're on, yeah.
but they're on it. So
They're
we
on the
have to
list.
get,
A few people here tonight could tell you they're on the list and
well, and we're not getting signatures from those people. We're not getting signatures from anybody who's died or anybody whose daughters moved out away from home or anybody.
but if they're on the list, that means you think you got their signature? I don't understand what
No,
you're saying.
no. The list is the list of people who vote, all people who voted in the last presidential election.
So the list is not Exhibit B.
It is, you need to read the ordinance a little closer, because it explains exactly what Exhibit B is.
Well, I read it. I'm not a lawyer.
Well, I am a lawyer and.
I don't understand the 51% and the 75%.
Well, I tell you, the best thing for us to do is probably for you to stop by. We can talk further. Unless you're free to use your 3 minutes. So if you got more to
Oh, how much
ask or
time do I
say,
have?
I don't know.
A minute?
A minute, okay. Well, my first thing was to ask about the development, and if someone could give an overview of that tonight for the people here who don't really know a lot about it. They've just heard about it. They've seen no communication about it. 75, 51%. Ken Carla Vista. I noticed that a lot of people in Ken Carla voted yes, and I'm wondering if all those people were told before they signed that of the huge construction project that was about to disrupt their lives forever.
The amount, I didn't make the request of people to sign it. People who ask it, I'm sure if they were asked questions, they answered the questions to the best of their ability. So I can't tell you what they were or were not told.
Okay. Who can I ask that question?
You just stop by sometime. We'll talk with you about it.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
One last thing real quick. I know this project is probably going to go through, I'm just begging you to scale it back. There's so much wildlife back there. My husband and I live right on River Road. Our house goes down the street, down the creek, up the hill, and the back of our woods abuts the head property. It's all woods and wildlife and birds and deer and red foxes. And if you take down all those trees up there, where are they all gonna go? That's all.
I understand your concern.
Thank
Thank you so much. Okay. Kathy Sauer.
I suspect a lot of that's in the floodplain.
Okay, just one moment, please. Thank you. My name is Kathy Sauer. I live in Hunting Creek subdivision. And I just wanted to say that I support this plan strongly for many reasons, including the mixed-use ideas and parking decks. But I'm going to concentrate mostly on one area, and that's the community center, proposed community center. Prospect now offers a variety of events for our residents to gather and enjoy community and concerts, Shakespeare in the Park, and art exhibits. These help us feel connected and a part of the community. I'm on the board of the Arts in City Hall, and we have over 300 visitors sometimes coming to our openings. Problem is there's not enough parking, and so they are parking over across the street and then having to walk over 42, which is dangerous. And I think to include a city center with an amphitheater, in my opinion, it was a genius move. To have a spot that's devoted to city gatherings and potentially city business gives us a safe place for parking and connection to others. Also, we connect to other businesses on 42 easily. The head property is going to be developed, and it just seems like it makes sense to use a thoughtful plan that has living and business space aesthetically developed along with the city center. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate that. Wes Johnson. I've got somebody else who can be the last speaker, so you go ahead.
Well, my name's Wes Johnson. If you guys weren't here maybe a month or two ago when we presented the development plan, I'm with Westcott Development. I'm the developer who hopefully will be developing the property across the street or right down the road. It's been said tonight, and I'll kind of reiterate, the head property in Prospect is almost the only undisturbed piece of ground on Highway 42 that has not been developed. And I know that that's something to hold on to and everybody loves, but the reality is this: development just as a practice is going to happen. We live in a growing city, and it's moving out of downtown, and people are coming out here for the same reason that you guys came out here a year ago, or 5 or 10 or 15, because they want to live in a nice city. The challenge right now with the head property is that although it's downtown Prospect, and we all love it, and we love the green space, Prospect as a city currently has no authority to control anything that happens on that site. So if Prospect does not annex this property, just so everybody understands, and I don't want to speak on their behalf, but I live here as well. My business is operated on Highway 42 right at the top of the hill. If Prospect doesn't have a say in what happens on that property, then Louisville Metro downtown does. And Louisville Metro is way less restrictive as to what goes there. To be quite honest, and I don't want to say or speak for them that they don't care what happens there, but they look at a zoning ordinance and a zoning ordinance only. And if it fits, it fits. The way it looks, how it gets maintained long-term, all of those factors, nothing has anything to do with it. Somebody brought up the police force. If this property doesn't get annexed in the city of Prospect, Prospect has no way to tax it, therefore can't increase its police force. So by annexing that property and what we build there, that tax revenue helps helps benefit our police force and helps benefit our city leaderships and city parks and city centers. I mean, that's how we create those dollars. So I'll say this, probably the thing that hit me most was Dale, and I know there's some other people that are affected by this property that are directly adjoined by it. I've met with some of them, not all of them. Prospect has no intention. I can say this because Doug has said that, and I have no intention of taking anybody's house by eminent domain. I can't thought of ever doing that. We've met with some people. We've not come to a term as to something that's acceptable to those people yet, but the discussions are still really early. We have a long way to go. And when we had those discussions, they were brought to those people so that the discussion could get started, so that there was never a point where anybody's hands forced in the deal. So that comment, I just want everybody to know, nobody's intention is to take anybody's house or their property. And there's many more discussions that are going to come after that, but I want to speak just to that. The other thing I'll touch on that a guy who spent his life in development and architecture and real estate is that it's a very rare opportunity that a city gets to work with a developer and they get the opportunity to steer what a development looks like for their community long term. It's almost, I don't want to say it's unheard of, but it's very, very uncommon. I mean, almost like you can count on two hands in the United States how many times it happens a year where a municipality meets a private developer and they say, hey, we really want to steer this and we want to work together. It just doesn't happen that way. So the city of Prospect taking action ahead of time, seeing an opportunity and saying, hey, we know something's coming. We want to control it. We want to control it for our city, for our residents. That is a huge ordeal. I mean, it is massive. It's a big undertaking for them in resources. And they're doing that because they care about the city, you know, through Doug's leadership and then pulling in outside people who, quite frankly, have done it far more than anybody in this room that are guiding us as consultants. I mean, they have best-in-class team. We have a best-in-class civil engineer, like not anybody in the city. I mean, best in class to help design it so that it's something that we're all proud of long-term, so that there are parks, so that there is retail, so that there is housing, and so that it's done in a way that 20 years from now, 50 years from now, it's a center that we're proud of. So I don't know that there's anything else that I didn't touch on, but the last thing I'll say is I know that y'all are asking about information on the development itself. I'll be here till the end of the meeting. Happy to give you guys my phone number. My office is at the top of the hill. We have the plans and would be happy to sit with any one of you on any day of the week, anytime. You're welcome to our office. We're happy to walk through the plans. If there's comments and stuff that we can address or things that we can change or make better, we definitely value opinion. We've done that by way of bringing that plan to the city and making it in a public meeting multiple times, taking comments. Some of the comments that were brought up in the last meetings have already been addressed and the plan's been modified. So it's not just the private side saying we care. The city is backing it, saying, hey, this is some feedback we get. Can we change and modify this? So, like, once again, I'm here. I'm happy to meet with anybody on I'm in town all week long. So anytime you're welcome at our office.
Thanks, Wes.
Thank you.
So I'll just comment on one or two little points there. The head property is not in the city of Prospect. So we have no control over it at this point, and the control we have beyond that's the same control we have over those of you who are present who live in the city of Prospect. We don't have a lot of control over you either. We're here to serve you, to make this a better city. And our goal is we knew this property was vacant. As Wes said, we knew it was going to get developed. And we thought it would be better for the community if we participated in that process. So we approached Wes as soon as he signed the contract to purchase it. And we employed a world-class city planner, 2 world-class city planners and their teams, and they've studied it. People have asked questions about floodplain, and so they know all that. They've studied it. They know the rules. They studied that before they came. They came here from Sunday through a Friday in January on site. They met with various citizens, members of our architectural review committee, and then they worked on the plan. They came in Wednesday. We had a joint meeting of the city council and the architectural review committee. It was an open meeting. Everyone was welcome to attend. There was notice given. On Friday, 2 days later, we did the same thing. The plan was further developed. We went over it again. So we're not going to be able to go over it in the same detail tonight that we did in those meetings, but we can do that. Wes has volunteered to do it. I'll do it anytime somebody wants to come by and see me. We'll go through it with you in detail. Then on the question of police, our police, if this land will be developed, if it's not in the city of Prospect, our police, unless there's a dire emergency, our police will not respond to calls in that development, because they don't. The way our police respond is you call 911 and they say, this is 911, what's your emergency? Oh, somebody broke into my house a couple of hours ago and they're gone now. And then they say, well, we'll send the police. They will send Louisville Metro Police to your house, and they'll come 4 hours later or the next day or not at all. We get that call, our officers are there in about 3 minutes. So that's a big advantage for the people who live in Ken Carla if it becomes part of the city of Prospect, and a big advantage for this development if it gets developed and is part of the city of Prospect. So there are a lot of things to consider in all this. This is not some sort of power grab or move on the part of the city to become a developer. That's not it. This is a public-private partnership working with Wes to try to come up with a rational plan that we can all be proud of. So there'll be more discussion as we go along, but I just thought it was important to get those points out at this point. I've saved Bob Jacob, who's the chairman of our Architectural Review Committee. And Bob, if you'll speak, that'd be great.
Thank you. I have the honor of being chairman of the Architectural Review Committee for the City of Prospect, which was formed approximately 2 years ago when the city realized that there was going to be some major changes in the development along 42. This was inevitable, and we wanted to be able to have some input into what goes on in those developments and the redevelopment of the properties that border 42, the shopping centers and so forth. We don't want any new developments to look like Dixie Highway or Preston Highway. I don't know if any of you have been on that areas in any time recently, but that is something we don't want out here. We wanted to make sure that whatever gets developed in that property, and it's going to be developed, and the thing that you have to answer for yourself is, would you rather deal with the city of Prospect or would you rather deal with the city of Louisville? And if you think the city of Louisville is going to listen to your concerns, they're not. I can say the city, I've been here for 32 years. When I moved out here, we truly were almost rural. I could hear cows and horses in the background when I woke up in the morning. That's gone. We're not farms and barns anymore. So it is going to be developed. It's a very expensive piece of property. And I've read all of the comments that have been posted online and some of the concerns. We as a city and we as the committee share every one of those concerns with you. We want to make sure that whatever is developed is going to be compatible with the feel that we have in this city. You need to remember that this city has always looked at preserving the integrity of the city and the quality of life we have out here. The city of Prospect stopped the full interchange on 42 and 265. If it wasn't for our objections to it, we'd have a full interchange there, not just the one way. When the developers came in and wanted to put in storage units on Wolf Pen Branch Road, the city stopped that too. So we're very concerned about what goes in there. Think about the Architectural Review Committee reviews everything that's going to be done. We're purely advisory. We have 6 people on the committee from diverse backgrounds and bring in areas of expertise. 2 of them have already spoken. That's Herb and Kathy. So we have people who are architects, people who are into the arts and sciences, people who are into design. And all of them have input into what goes on. And I'm not here to stroke Mr. Westcott, but we have dealt with him for multiple meetings, and he has always been receptive to any objections we had to the plans that they put in and to what we wanted. And he was always been receptive. I'm not clairvoyant, and I can't tell you what eventually is going to come in. What is on paper right now is not the final plan. So it's going to be subject to change. It's going to be subject to the people who have put input. We are the 5th safest city in the state of Kentucky. So that's what our police department is. And if these properties are going to be developed, if they get annexed, then they will also become part of the 5th safest city in the city of Prospect. People objected to the garage, 500 spaces. Would you rather have 500 asphalt spaces? Or would you rather have a garage that's designed in such a way, unless you're inside it, you're not going to know you're in a parking garage? So this has been carefully thought out. The developers and the designers of this have done some incredibly great designs. For those of you who are maybe familiar with the Florida Panhandle, Seaside, and Rosemary Beach, they were involved in those kinds of properties. It is going to be mixed use. It's the only way it can be developed and be financially feasible. $7 or $8 million is a lot of money to pay for a piece of property, and probably half that to do the infrastructure. So it has to be financially viable, and the only way we're going to be able to do that I can see, and I'm not a finance guy, I'm a retired physician, so is to have properties that are going to generate enough tax revenue. And this is designed for walkability, communicability, and community. There's huge areas of green space, and it's all designed for having a livable space in a quiet environment. So I'm just saying that if you input is anticipated, we would like to see that, and we listen. So just to say that the committee itself has been in favor of it. We're still working on the final plans, but we would be happy to address any issues and any objections that people have and see if there's any way that we can mitigate those for you.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is the mayor's report. I'm sorry, did you sign up and I miss you? I apologize. Remind me,
I'll make it quick.
I'm sorry, what's your name, ma'am?
Marcia Johnson.
Oh, okay, I thought I'd called you. I apologize.
That's okay.
You go ahead.
Marcia Johnson at 7119 River Road. After hearing what I've heard, I really feel like that a lot has gone on that I have not been aware of, and I would love for you to organize a meeting to let people come again. It seems like a lot of questions are still out there over the community development, and it adjoins my property, and there's a proposal for an amphitheater right there on the boundary of my property, and I've not been contacted. So I would love if you could schedule another meeting and have whoever needs to be there to speak. That's what I request.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll meet with you.
Okay.
And then we'll meet with anybody, anytime. So
Okay.
let's just get together, and we can get Wes, and I'll come up and we'll go through it with you.
Well, I think Deanie would like to come, and I think Art would. There's a number of people. If
Well,
we
I'll
would-
tell you, my experience is we get 8 or 10 people in a room, and there's a lot of back and forth, and there's not a lot of organization to it. I'd prefer we get 2 or 3 people at a time,
Okay.
and we answer questions in a thoughtful, rational manner.
That's good too.
Try to get the emotion out of it and
Right.
have it a good discussion, and just provide all the information we can. There's no secrets here.
Okay. Do I call you or you call me?
You call me.
I'll call you and we'll set something up?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That's all I need.
Okay, that's great. Thanks so much for signing up. Thanks for reminding me that I'd missed you. I apologize again for that.
That's okay.
So the next item on the agenda is the mayor's report. And I've spoken a lot already. We've already been going for half an hour, but I do have some prepared remarks, some of which will repeat what we've said. This evening, we're having a discussion about the best way to develop the head property. There are those of us in attendance who support the development plan, and there are those who oppose it. All of us seek to shape Prospect for the better. From the time that Wes Johnson signed the contract to purchase the head property, the city has worked closely with him and his company on the type of development that would occur. The city secured the services of 2 noted city planners, Jeff Speck and Mike Watkins. They and their team studied the head property in depth and then came to Prospect, staying from Sunday, January the 11th through Friday, January 16th. That week, we had 2 joint meetings about the developing plan with both the council and the Architectural Review Committee. Members of the public were invited to attend. Notice was given. Everybody in Prospect who gets the newsletter, anybody who's not in Prospect, you can get the newsletter. Just sign up online. But those people knew about it and had the opportunity to come and ask questions. Members of the public did attend and did speak. As a result of that effort, we have a superb plan for a new city center that will be pedestrian friendly and that will include a town square, an amphitheater, a theater, apartments, townhouses, restaurants, shops, and other commercial establishments. Approximately 40% of the land will remain as green space. There's a very large amount of this land will remain as green space. We continue to welcome suggestions from Prospect residents and from non-residents on how we can improve the plan. Understand, if the annexation doesn't occur, we're going to have less opportunity to improve the plan. That's our goal, is to get a plan that people can be proud of and that will improve our community. This evening, the council will consider a resolution giving preliminary approval to the master plan. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet has asked us to take that step so that it can consider the impact of the development on the 3 roundabouts that are currently planned for US 42 and can consider whether a 4th roundabout located at the entrance to the development would be helpful. Tonight's agenda also includes a first reading on the ordinance to authorize the annexation of the head property, Ken Carla, several houses on River Road, and the new River Road apartments. We are, at this point, a few signatures shy of the number we need for the annexation to take place, so we will defer consideration of the annexation ordinance to a later meeting. So now I'm going to shift gears and talk about a few other things in the city. First, I'll mention a number of us just came from a very nice ceremony back here in Little Hunting Creek Park. The Isaac Shelby chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution donated a stone bench to the city, and they came in full regalia and we had a very nice ceremony dedicating that bench. The bench celebrates the country's 250th birthday. We got a great relationship with the Sons of the American Revolution. They're our color guard at our 4th of July parade every year. And now I want to talk about the current art exhibition here in City Hall. Kathy Sauer, who spoke earlier, is on our Architecture Review Committee. She's also the founder of the Art in City Hall Prospect Committee and serves as an active member of that committee. On Sunday, March 22nd, we held a reception in this room to celebrate the opening of Fresh Art, an exhibition that features work by artists aged 18 to 30-ish. All who attended the opening enjoyed meeting the artists. To date, 8 pieces of artwork have sold. The exhibition continues through May 15th. I encourage everyone to stop by City Hall during regular business hours to enjoy the art. There's more art in the conference room, but because of this meeting, we've moved the glass pieces into the conference room and we've closed that door. But at the end of the meeting, if you'd like to see some more art, we'll open that up and I'll go in there with you. You can see some just beautiful art glass. This Saturday, April 25th, the CEO of the River Heritage Conservancy will be giving a presentation in this room about Origin Park. Origin Park is an evolving new urban riverfront park on 430 acres in Clarksville, Indiana. It's below the Falls of the Ohio on the Indiana side. The park celebrates and embraces the unpredictable Ohio River and the floods that come from it. The park is open to the public in certain limited designated areas. The new visitor center is scheduled to open in May. I toured the park 3 years ago. I'll be working with the Conservancy on scheduling a further tour in the coming weeks. But I encourage everyone who's here this evening to plan to come on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock and learn more about Origin Park. This Sunday, April 26th, please bring a lawn chair or a blanket to Little Hunting Creek Park to enjoy Kentucky Shakespeare production of The Tempest. The play is about the exiled Duke of Milan, Prospero, who uses magic to conjure a storm to shipwreck his enemies on his island, leading to themes of revenge, forgiveness, and reconciliation. The plot follows Prospero, his daughter Miranda, the spirit Ariel, and the native Caliban as they navigate the island, with Miranda falling in love with the shipwrecked Prince Ferdinand, ultimately leading to Prospero forgiving his enemies and reclaiming his dukedom. The play will be performed at 1 p.m. on Sunday in the John Evans Pavilion, right back here. In the event of rain, we'll move the play here into the council room. So that concludes my report. The next item on the agenda is financial report. John Carter.
I wanted to let you know that we did receive a draft of the audit, and we'll be presenting that next month. Finances for March is what I'm summarizing. In our investments, we had 3.7 million. We roughly had about 73,000 in checking. Cash on hand's roughly 3.8 million. Our restricted road fund has a balance now of 50,000, and our capital project fund has a total balance of 349,000 and change. And that's all I have to report, unless you have some questions.
Any questions from the council on the finances? Okay, thanks, John, very much. And I'll just comment, John just does a great job managing our money. We're very appreciative for that. Commission and board reports. Forestation Board, Linda Knox.
Forestation met on the 9th, and now that the trees are coming out, it puts us in a position to take a better look at what's going on, what we need to be aware of, what we need to be concerned of, and, you know, the better thing that we need right now is a new arborist. As most of you know, Andrea Hanlon decided to retire. She served us well for many years, and we have 3 strong candidates that we will be interviewing on Thursday, and hope to make a decision and have somebody in place very shortly, so we can kind of take a look at some of the trees that need to be addressed and, you know, spend some time in our neighborhoods. And I would welcome council members or any residents, if you have street trees that you're concerned about, to reach out and let us know so they can be on the list for us to get out and take a look at. So that's kind of where we are, but we've heard a lot of talk this evening about a potential development, and it's going to affect trees. And, you know, we're pretty proud that we've been a tree city for 18 years, and we're working on 19. We hope we get there. And the city is very supportive of it.
You have gotten there. We got the letter.
It's legal. Well, they told me it was good. So
Congratulations.
we're working on 19, but you know, the city has supported us every step of the way, and I know they will be very sensitive in any development, and we have been involved in trees and adding trees, and, you know, we hate to lose trees, but we need to add trees wherever we can. I mean, when the Chase Bank branch went in, that was a big discussion, and we worked with them to see that new appropriate plantings were done in a manner that was going to be successful. So I'm sure as this plan evolves, we will be involved and hope to see and save as many trees as we can and add where it's appropriate to do so. So that's what's going on with forestation.
Thanks, Linda. And I'll mention Herb Schulhafer, who spoke earlier, is on the Architectural Review Committee, but he's also a member of
He's
the
a tree guy.
He's a member of the Forestation Board. So next on the agenda is the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. Is there someone to give that report? David Holmes.
So we met on March the 13th, and here's a summary of what transpired. The work is completed on the boardwalk repairs to begin in Woodland Park in the next couple weeks. Tina Bevins met with Adam Taylor, and they hiked the Harrods Creek Park. Adam is the invasive plant coordinator with the Kentucky Forestry Department, and he was impressed with how good the shape the park is with minimal invasive plants. That's one of our parks. We have some others that have some problems, which we're going to be talking about here in a minute. There's a proposed date of May the 9th for a guided seminar about invasive plants. and garlic mustard pull led by Adam Taylor and coordinated with Tina around Putney Pond. So look for Ron giving you more information on that date in the newsletter that goes out from the city. Tina also hiked Putney Pond with Gary Cross with CIF, which are the people that do our invasive plant removal for us. This park isn't as in good a shape as Herod Creek Park is. However, you can see the result from the maintenance work they have been doing. And we're recommending that we probably have more work done next fiscal year as we go into the budget cycle with that park. The first wildflower hike was held on Sunday, April the 12th. There were about 15 people in attendance. We want to thank Jacqueline McGrail for leading those for the city. Our summer concert series lineup is now complete and postcards are in the process of being mailed to all the residents. The first of the events is what the mayor mentioned for this coming Sunday at 1 p.m., and that's Shakespeare in the Park doing The Tempest. The remaining events will occur each month on different days on Sunday, and most all of them will start at 7 o'clock and go to around 9 o'clock in the park out here. There's a group of volunteers coordinating our student volunteer group with Sophia Campo, who is our student member on our board. And they're going to haul out some of the debris that's been left in Woodland Park from the 2 bridge replacements that occurred last year. That's going to occur on Saturday, May 9th. The next park meeting is Monday, May 11th. It's always at 5 p.m. in the library. Anybody who wishes to attend is welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Any questions for David? Thanks for stepping in and giving that report. Jefferson County League of Cities, Sandra Leonard.
Last Thursday, we had both a board meeting and a general meeting. Both of them were excellent, but I'd like to brag about Prospect first. At the general meeting, we were mentioned twice. Once because we are now involved in looking at our garbage. There are programs where they allow people to go in and look at what's being recycled, hopefully to train all of us to recycle more effectively or to get us interested in recycling. And the reason I want to brag about us is there are other small cities. There are 80 suburban cities in Jefferson County. Some of the others are going through this same process of evaluation. Our numbers are the highest of any they've worked on so far. It's really good. The other thing that came up was, you've heard me talk before, but essentially I'm involved in profiling the 80 cities, looking at different things because nobody seems to have done this before. And one of the questions I got some months ago was, how many tree cities are there in Jefferson County? I didn't know, but I called up Linda Knox, and between the two of us, we compiled a document. The next thing that happened was Linda opened up a meeting that she was having, an educational meeting, to other cities that came. From that, several other cities in Jefferson County have now become tree cities. And the gentleman from the state, Mr. Baggett, who was here at Linda's meeting, came to the Jefferson County League of Cities meeting last Thursday, and now 2 big cities, they're much bigger than we are, St. Matthews and Jeffersontown are interested in becoming tree cities. So this list that I've given all of you of the tree cities in Jefferson County, you can give Linda and I planting a little acorn to growing an oak. There are now 5 more tree cities than there were when we started just a few months ago. It's exciting. The general meeting was excellent. Mr. Baggett talked at the general meeting and did such a good job. That's where the other cities said, I want to do that too. The other topic of discussion was Jason Nemus and Julie Rocky Adams. The day before the meeting, the state legislature finished its session for this year. And so they talked about bills that had been passed, that vetoes had been overridden on. And in general, most of the things that came out of the last legislative session, there were none that radically impaired home rule cities, is what we're called. There were some that assisted us, and there also was talk about what they would want to do to make us be able to govern better in the future. So it was a very productive meeting.
Thank you, Sandra. I'll take a moment to follow up on your comments about recycling, to say, when I became mayor, I saw what we were spending on garbage removal, yard waste removal, and recycling. And there was a big number, it's still a big number. And the question that I had, I recycle, we recycle at our home, but I do it because I think it works. Well, I thought that as mayor, I needed to have more than just what I thought. So I visited 2 landfills that Rumpke operates, and I visited their recycling facility in Cincinnati where they process the recycling material. I visited it twice. And for any doubters, I will tell you, recycling makes a difference. It matters. We would reduce the waste that goes into our landfills by 40% if we all recycled. It just makes a big difference. The recycled material, some years they make money with it. Rumpke makes money with it. Some years they lose money, but they're committed to it long term. I think one of the reasons they're committed to it long term is it prolongs the life of their landfills. So it's worthwhile on many levels. So with that said, I'll go to the next item on the agenda, which is the police report. Michael McKeon.
All right, well, fortunately, this month, we had one of those types of months where we can say we're happy that there's not that much to report. The car hoppers tried us again once in. Oh, okay. I thought there was an issue. Yeah, the car hoppers tried us again on April 8th. They rummaged through about 6 unlocked cars, and once again, our late watch officers stumbled upon them while they were looking through the cars. They climbed in the stolen car that they entered the neighborhood in, and they fled. By the time Officer Cirillo could turn around, they were out on 42, and he couldn't tell which way they went, so they were gone. But that's 4 out of the 5 times that they've been into our neighborhoods recently. Well, not recently, but over the last 6 or 7 months. They've been in the neighborhoods 5 times, and 4 of those times we've actually encountered them while they were going through the cars, and that's just unheard of. The next issue, we had a female that broke down in the roadway, and really this is kind of a non-event, but it leads to something else that I think is kind of significant. She broke down in the roadway, but then she locked her doors and rolled her windows up and refused to speak to officers. She ran out of gas, and she was apparently having some form of a crisis. So our officers, they spent about 2 hours with her trying to talk her out of the car rather than escalate the situation. They discovered the car she was in actually belonged to somebody else, and they called Metro and sent an officer to that address to try to get a key to the car so they could get into the car. They tried several other things, talked to her, like I said, for 2 hours, and eventually she started to manipulate a gas can inside the vehicle while she was smoking and playing with a lighter. So they didn't know, if there was fuel in the gas can or not. So at that point they had to act, and they punched the rear window out with a glass punch and got her out of the vehicle. And then at that point she was completely compliant, and she was taken care of appropriately there. Now, like I said, that sounds kind of like a non-event, but what I would like to point out is that's one of those kinds of situations where officers with poor decision-making skills could have escalated that, and it could have gotten wildly out of control. But instead it ended the way it did as a non-event because of the skill sets of our late watch officers. Again, I know about a year ago, we talked about some situations where people had questions about us not chasing people when they were encountered sometimes. And you know, there are certain things you can do that for, but for the most part, we try to avoid that because generally we create a more dangerous situation than what we're trying to take care of. We had a subject that ran from one of our late watch officers, and the last contact he saw on his radar was 130 miles an hour as he went up the top of the hill. Well, through some investigation, they determined who that subject was. They went and filed a criminal complaint. They were awarded a warrant, and that subject was picked up this morning at his place of business. We're currently modernizing all of our SOPs. Some of those haven't been looked at recently. We're comparing those to other similar sized departments, model policies specific to Kentucky, LMPD's new DOJ reviewed policies, and we're trying to create a policy manual that reads more like an instruction and guideline manual rather than a statutory and training text, which that can, it's harder for an officer to read it and take what they actually need out of it because there's just too much fluff in it, you know? So we're trying to strip that down and modernize those SOPs. Hired a new officer, Officer Green. He started March 1st. He's already integrated into Late Watch and they're doing well. And Officer Wheatley became a grandfather yesterday.
Okay, any questions for Michael? So I'll mention, I read the police reports every morning on the day's activity, the different run sheets that the officers fill out. And I read about the lady in crisis. And I was so proud of our officers, the way they handle it. Our officers are retired from other police departments. So most were LMPD, but some are from some other police departments. Most of them held supervisory positions before they came to Prospect. The officer, Sergeant Cirillo, was the one who encountered the black Mustang. I read that report also. Black Mustang, about 10 o'clock at night, was going, I think it started out at about 70 miles an hour through Prospect. So he turned on his lights, pulled in behind him, and that's when he accelerated to 130 miles an hour. And Sergeant Cirillo pulled his car over at Covered Bridge Road, radioed to Oldham County to tell them this subject was coming out there. But from my perspective, as the mayor of Prospect, I'm so proud of the judgment that our officers use. If he had started a 130 mile an hour chase into Oldham County, no telling what might have happened. So I just cannot say enough good things about the quality of our officers, their experience, their judgment, and their bravery. One of the times Michael mentioned that our officers have interrupted car hoppers when they're stealing cars. One night in the landings, we got a call through 911 about somebody stealing a car in the landings. The officer responded, had been at 5-star. He responded to the landings within 3 minutes, saw the car that had the people who come into the neighborhood. That car turned onto Shallow Lake. He turned onto Shallow Lake. Behind it, that's a dead end. The car turned around at the other end, came back at a high rate of speed toward him, turned right on Timber Ridge, and was exiting the neighborhood when the second officer was arriving. So we had 2 officers respond within 5 minutes to this incident. If LMPD had been called, they couldn't have been here in 20 minutes. So as that car exited, it hit the car, our police car, head on. Fortunately, it was a glancing blow. But I say that to underscore that this is not just people out driving around in the evening checking on houses. These are officers who are putting themselves at risk for our safety and for our benefit. So I just couldn't be more proud of our officers. The more I get to know them and the more I read, I'm just so pleased with what we've got. I appreciate it. Okay, we'll move to new business. The first item of new business is Municipal Order 1, an order consenting to the nomination by the mayor of a citizen of the city to serve on the City of Prospect Forestation Board and affixing a term of office thereto. So this is an order that reappoints Linda Knox to the Forestation Board as the chair. Is there a motion to approve Municipal Order 1?
So moved.
Oh, second.
Ms. Leonard made the motion. Dr. Furman seconded. Is there discussion? So I think we'll do this by voice vote, or should we do a roll call?
Voice vote.
Voice vote is okay? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that order is approved unanimously. The next item is what we talked about earlier. It's a resolution approving the preliminary plan for the development of a downtown prospect. This resolution approves the preliminary plan for a downtown prospect and authorizes the mayor and city staff to take all necessary steps to implement the plan. And I'll reiterate, we're adopting this resolution at the request of the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet so they can begin the process of studying and understanding what impact this will have on US 42 and on the 3 roundabouts that are going to be built. The construction on them will start in 2028 and 2029. No, sorry. Just talk with me after the meeting. So is there a motion to approve that resolution?
So move.
Second.
David Holmes made the motion. Mr. Clark seconded. Is there discussion? If not, we'll proceed to a vote, roll call vote. Mrs. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
Dr. Furman?
Yes.
So that resolution is approved by a vote of 6-0. The next item on the agenda was the ordinance relating to annexation of the head property and other properties into the city of Prospect. As I mentioned, we do not have sufficient signatures yet for that annexation to take place, so that's being deferred to a later meeting. So is there any other business to come before the council? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Dr. Furman moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mayor Evans seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. And if anybody wants to see the art, I'll unlock the door and you can see the additional art.